No one in the photo and video community is gonna tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Nowadays, you really don't have to upgrade or buy new equipment. Things are just that good. And of course, there is people that should upgrade, but we'll talk about that in a second. Full frame world, there's a lot of cameras that are really good, but the ones I mostly know about is Canon and Sony, so I'm gonna talk about those. Right now, the best Canon camera is obviously the Canon R6 Mark II. No, it's not the R5, it's not the R3. I know people that have that and want to switch to this because the photo and video is that good. Yes, it's only 24 megapixels, but it doesn't matter. Like those that shoot more professional stuff like weddings or like commercials and stuff like that, they want to do that. So that must tell you something. If you're gonna get a cinema camera, I'd probably recommend the FX3. It was recently used in some movie, I don't remember which one. But it goes to show how good it is. Of course, they probably had like $15,000, $30,000 worth of lenses, or I mean, a single lens cost that much and they adapted it on, but still, like, it was used. Like, that camera was like $4,000 and it's crazy good for video if you know what you're doing with it, right? For me, I'm just a hobbyist. It's even the word. That's why I got this thing. It's good for photo, video, hybrid camera. I can switch real fast, so that's good. And for the crop cameras, the APS-Cs, I honestly recommend the Sony a6700. It's crazy good. Like, it shoots 4K, 24, 30, 60, even up to 120, which is insane. The 120 does have a crop, but it's like, it's something you don't need, but they added it on. Like the A7 IV, which is a full frame, on that Sony camera, 4K 60 is cropped. Like, if you get a full frame, you probably don't want a cropped image, right? But it crops in, so that sucks. That's why I'm saying the Canon R6 Mark II is the best full frame you could get right now. That's a hybrid camera. Unless you want a video camera, then I say the FX3 or the Sony ZV-1 if it's like not that professional, you know? They're both about the same, but the FX3 is more professional. For Canon, there's the R7 you could get. It's basically the Canon R6, but just cropped. That's like 32 megapixels, but since it's cropped, it's almost the same thing as this 24 megapixel, but it doesn't have 4K 120, so it's kind of up to you. But what I will say about that, the R7 does have a dual card slot, which is more professional, and the A6700 doesn't, which sucks, but I don't know, you choose. Of course, both great cameras, but I say this only because you get way more lenses and like at a cheaper price than the Canon ones. Like, honestly, you probably need like 3 to 4 lenses max with Sony, unless you're trying to get into very specific things. Then there's like 3 or 4 zoom lenses you can get, and it's good, honestly, for everything. Honestly, maybe even 2. But yeah, now let's talk about the smaller ones. So I'm currently recording with the Sony ZV-1, not the 1F, not the ZV-1 Mark II. I'm just recording with the Sony ZV-1. This has a 1-inch sensor, so it's smaller than APS-C, and of course smaller than full frame. Right here, I have a DJI Pocket 2, and this is a 1 over something. So it's even smaller than this thing. And you can see, I think it's pretty good video quality, right? Like, I look good, decent, right? I'm recording at 4K, but this is a camera that's about, I don't know, I say about this big, like 4 inches probably, because the screen is like a 3-inch screen or something like that. So it's about 4 inches, I say. It's cool, but 20 megapixels, 1-inch sensor. It's not the best for photos. I mean, unless you're recording for social media or taking photos for social media, I guess it's decent. You use it for YouTube videos, stuff like that. Professional, maybe not too much, unless it's like good sunlight, which we're losing right now, so I'm trying to hurry this thing up. But look, this thing only records up to 4K 30, which kind of sucks. Battery's pretty small, but it's mostly about the video specs, in my opinion. Like, I'm shooting in manual right now, but no color grading or anything like that. You might have to color grade a little bit. The DJI Pocket 3 is about to come out in like 3 days. It's gonna have a 1-inch sensor, just like this camera. The colors are gonna look way better. Megapixels are gonna be way higher. I think it's like 64, and it records 4K up to 120. Isn't that insane? It's gonna have a similar body like this. The screen's gonna be like about this big. It's supposed to be like 2 inches, but dude, that's crazy insane. And it's supposed to record vertical and horizontal video, and it has a built-in gimbal. Like, that's insane, right? That's insane. If you get the creator bundle, it also comes with a wide angle lens, wireless mic. I think this is also coming with an extra battery pack. Mini tripod. I mean, that isn't crazy, but like, isn't that crazy? I think it's gonna be around $600, and this camera is about like $750. You could probably get it used for like $500-600, but dude, video is gonna be crazy. Super stable footage. This is gonna be like this big. It's honestly gonna be the same size as this, or like a little bit smaller, but it's gonna be way thinner. I'm talking about length, not girth. Anyways, okay, my bad, I switched topics. It's because I'm hyped about this DJI Pocket 3. It's about to be insane, and I'm about to get it. But anyways, like, if you got the newest cameras that I just mentioned, you kind of don't have to upgrade. At least in my opinion, I think those are like good unless you're making content like this, then of course buy them, make videos, use them if you want to, sell the older stuff, see which one you like more. Like supposedly the R5 Mark II is supposed to come out in February, or announcements at least. And if it's built the same as this thing, like the whole switching stuff, and I mean that's basically it, right? Just more megapixels basically. If it's basically this camera with more megapixels and even like 4K 120. Wait, actually I think the first one has that. So okay, basically just this camera but more megapixels. I might have to get that one and get rid of this one. But we have to see the low light comparison, because you know usually when it's lower megapixels is better in low light than more megapixels. But other than that, chilling. Like I said, the R6 Mark II I think is the best full frame you can get right now. The A6700 best APS-C camera you can get, or I guess the R7 if you don't need that 4K 120. For a 1-inch sensor, the Sony ZV-1's good, but like I said, the DJI Pocket 3 is going to come out, so I think that one's going to be the best choice you could get. Because now like phones are getting so good that it's kind of like you don't need these small cameras, honestly. Like these are going to look a little bit better, but it's not like crazy better, you know? That's why the DJI Pocket 3 has to be very good. The phone still got a long way to go to compete with these cameras. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to compete because the sensor is way smaller. It just looks fake compared to like, for example, this camera. So it's like, it's close to this, but it's also like not beating it. So it's like, it is, but it isn't. But yeah, if you have these cameras, I think you should upgrade. I don't know too much about Sony full frame, but if you have the Sony a6000 series, unless you have the a65 or a66, honestly, maybe not even the a65. If you have the a64 and a66, I think you're good. If you have the a65 or anything else besides that, you should probably sell it. The Sony ZV-10, I guess it's cool, but it only records 4K 30. So if you don't need 4K 60, then you could keep it, I guess, but honestly, I'd sell it. The Canon, if you have the Canon M series, I'd probably sell it. Any DSLRs that you have, like the T series or anything like that, sell it. If you have the Canon like G7 or something like that, the G7X, sell those. Get the Sony Z1, it's way better. Or wait for the DJI Pocket 3. Get that. Okay, my bad, I went all over the place, but these are the top cameras that I recommend. So it's the Canon R6 Mark II, the Sony FX3, the Sony ZV-1, the Sony a6700, the Canon R7, if you don't care about the 120. I'd say wait for the DJI Pocket 3, but if you don't really want this and you don't want super stable footage, because you know, it has a built-in gimbal right here and all that, you get the Sony ZV-1. Don't really recommend the F or the Mark II, because the Mark II honestly is worse than this. It's just a little bit wider, that's it, but you can just buy an attachment for this. So I don't know, up to you guys. Let me know what you think. What other cameras you know about. But yeah, my bad, I went all over the place. Kind of embarrassing, I should write down notes, but sorry. If you really stick to the end, like, subscribe. I'm sorry, but cool.